Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is. I wish that I could plug in that Jay-Z song because that's how I feel. That is how I feel. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Welcome to the podcast, the Candor and Clarity Podcast, with me, your host, Leah LeRae. And let me tell you, it's it's been a minute. The last time I dropped a Candor and Clarity podcast was, I think it was 2022. Yeah, 2022. It's been a minute, but I am so glad to be back on the mic because I've been putting it off for a while. And if you listen to the Afro Holistic podcast, you already know. And if you haven't listened, go catch up. Okay? Because 2023, I was on a different kind of spiritual, holistic healing, hence the name Afro Holistic Podcast, which past season, so we're entering the new season, Candor and Clarity, a rich auntie vibe. And yeah, we're going to get into all of the nitty gritty about the change, the rebrand, why I'm coming back now, what we're going to be talking about, what is all this. So we're going to get into it. But first, this episode is sponsored by my company, Soul Remedy Apothecary and Wellness. And today, I want to take a moment of calm because the world is crazy right now. We are experiencing so much chaos. And I talked about this. If you're not following me on Instagram and part of my broadcast channel, you need to be up in there because we talked about finding your calm during the chaos. And, my heart goes out to LA right now. Having lived in LA for a couple of years, I definitely feel part of that community in some ways. So I'm disheartened about what's going on there. So we're going to take a moment to just pause and breathe. So inhale and exhale. So Midnight Jasmine is one of my favorite creations because she has musk, jasmine, vanilla, and sweet almond oil, along with a little jojoba oil. And so I just feeling like I want to add just a little bit of oil before we get all up into the nitty gritty. And what I love, and you will too, about my oils is that they are lightweight. They smell so good. And you can see, look at that shine. They are very moisturizing, right? And they are lightly scented enough that you smell so good. And you can layer it with your other favorite products, with your other favorite perfumes, as long as the scent profiles, fairly complement each other. And, you can layer them with the other scents that I have. And so if you want to explore more of those and indulge your senses, go ahead and check out the link in the description because I have all of the products listed there that you can go and, see what you like, find your favorite scent. And I also have a sample trio. So if you are not sure on which one you want to try, you can try all of them. So, yeah. Now, back to the episode. So, this whole journey began, and now that I'm strolling down memory lane, this whole journey of really putting myself out there started in 2012 when I decided, I'm gonna write a blog, right? And so I started off with a blog, just kind of, fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and then that turned into really diving into beauty and wellness. And I've been on the journey ever since, holistic wellness. I've been a part of and been studying for over 20 years now. It's like crazy that I say that. Over 20 years. Yeah, it's been over 20 years that I've been studying holistic wellness. Certified life coach, certified holistic wellness practitioner. And just over the years, I've just been educating and teaching about, eating healthy, about stress management, about body wellness, body care, which actually sparked the idea for Soul Remedy. And, you know, teaching Pilates and yoga and just really the whole shebang about wellness, right? And then I would say 2019, I took a turn in my wellness journey and I started talking about generational trauma. And that was an interesting, that was an interesting journey because as 2019, 2020, 2021 were happening, I was going through my own journey, with facing generational trauma, facing wounds from childhood. And, you know, looking back, part of me realizes that maybe some of that journey was just for myself. Maybe that wasn't something that I was supposed to be necessarily teaching because trauma is complex, it's layered. There's so many ways to heal and deal with trauma. And I was really trying to figure it out for me. Part of that was sharing my story. And if you want to go back and listen to the earlier podcast of Afro Holistic, the 2019, 2020s, okay, we got into boundary setting. We got into really relationships, that aspect of holistic wellness and healing. And then 2022. 2022 was an interesting year for me because it started off with my own health issues. And I couldn't understand. I was like, I'm a holistic wellness person. I'm a healer. Like, why am I experiencing all of these crazy ass symptoms? And at that time, I didn't understand what was happening with my body. I was gaining weight. I was experiencing bloating and pain, abdominal pain, and, you know, anxiety and depression. And, I mean, some of that was part of the relationship that I was in. That's another episode for another day. But I was experiencing perimenopause, and we will definitely dive into all of that later on this season. Because listen, if you're 35 and above, you know by now perimenopause is a pain in the ass, okay? There's no easy way of stating that she's a pain in the ass and she got you waking up, she got you sweating, all types of stuff. So, but anyway, the challenges that I've had to face and overcome over the past few years really led me here to where I am today, to the rich auntie vibe, because, entering your 40s is a very interesting transition into womanhood that nobody prepares you for. Nobody, your mama, your aunties. And I'm like, why y'all didn't tell me? Okay, I'm still a little mad about that. But here we are. So, Candor and Clarity, if you did not listen to the first season, which you should, because you can go back and watch all of those videos here on YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you can listen to it on Spotify or wherever you find podcasts. So go ahead and go stream those episodes, check it out. And that season, the first season, was really focused on collective social issues, right? Black people in America, women in America, And so with season two, we are definitely shifting the gear, right? We're shifting and we're really focusing on women, but as a collective, in our 40s and beyond, because I think that we don't talk enough about what the fuck is happening with our bodies, with our minds, with our hormones, and there's still some holistic wellness elements to the Candor and Clarity podcast, but it's not so much centered on wellness and healing like the Afro Holistic podcast was. And so, yeah, we're gonna get into all of the tea, all of the nitty-gritty, but first a little bit about me and my tea. So I left off the Afro Holistic podcast with saying, this is the end. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I didn't. I had no idea. I had just ended a 3-year relationship. And so I had to take the journey of really healing and figuring out what my life looked like after that, what the next step was. I stopped creating content. I just kind of stopped everything because I was on a journey to figure out who I was, stepping into this new season of my life. I've got these health diagnoses. I've got, you know, aches and pains and knee problems and all these things going on with myself. And so I took some time, right? Instead of trying to take everybody on that journey with me, I really needed to just have that time to myself and really figure out, girl, where did you get lost? Okay, what happened? How did you end up here? And that was a painful journey. I'm still on that journey. I'm still figuring it out, but I have a better perspective, right? I have a better perspective. I have a better grip on some things. I mean, some things still a little fuzzy. I'm like, God, are you can you explain this? What's really going on? But for the most part, um, I'm finding my joy through it all, right? Because that's the point of life. Walking through life and just constantly healing and going through shit. I mean, at some point you gotta find the joy in it. You gotta find the laughter, right? Because we always gonna go through shit, It's always gonna be something some obstacle that we have to push through or get over. And it's about the journey. It's not necessarily about getting to some specific place in life, and that's one of the gems that I've picked up was enjoy the journey, right? Enjoy the journey and find the joy in that. And so that's where I'm at now. I am turning 42 in, oh my God, next month. Where has time gone? Next month I'll be 42 and I'm in a new city. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Uh, I am embarking on a new career of interior design. And this journey has been, I mean, it's been some ups and downs, with a new start, with any new start, right? Really trying to anchor myself and figure out, okay, how are we going to maneuver? Who is this woman that you are evolving into? Like, who is this new person that's trying to come through? And it's been a challenge of letting go of old me, right? Old behaviors, and really allowing myself to be rebirthed. And let me tell you, that shit ain't easy. It is not easy, but in order for growth and evolution, it must be done, yes? So That's where we are. And, I've been wanting to I've been wanting to come back to the podcast for a while, for a good while. And I kept putting it off like, no, it's not time. I don't know if I want to share the journey yet. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And God was like, knock, knock. Get your ass on that mic. Get back on the mic. And I was like, no, 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 I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. God said, it's time. It's time. And so here we are. It's time with the new rebrand and the concept of the rich auntie really came to me because it's not your average rich auntie, okay? We're not talking about money. We're not talking about luxury, uh, materialism, although those things are nice, okay? I love a good couple of luxury items now and again, but it's not centered around that. It's not centered around material wealth. It's really centered around your mental, emotional, and physical wealth, right? And so the acronym for Rich Auntie, and listen, you heard it here first on the Candor and Clarity Podcast, what Rich Auntie means to me. Okay, so the R is radiant, the I is intentional, the C is confident, the H is happy. So that's rich, baby. Radiant, intentional, confident, and happy. Okay, because that's what we striving for in our 40s and beyond. And even y'all in y'all 20s and 30s, okay? But y'all be on some other stuff because this generation, child, I don't know. And then auntie would be authentic, understanding, nurturing, thoughtful, inspiring, and elegant. Boom. All right, don't y'all steal my shit. All right, cause that's the vibe that I'm on. And then you are welcome to join me on this journey of creating your vibrant, rich auntie life. I would love to have you. Cause that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And it ain't got nothing to do with money. It ain't got nothing to do with money. You create a rich and vibrant life first from the inside. And then that materializes on the outside, to whatever liking that is for you. So that is the rich auntie concept that I came up with. And, it took some time to really hammer it out and say, how do I want to come back with my business, with my content, with my soul remedy products, with my body oils, perfume? Like, how does this big machine work, right? And so yeah, I'm excited about this new journey that I'm on. It feels more authentic to this stage of my life, right? I think, and wellness will always be a part of everything that I do. And so thank you for being here with me. Thank you for taking the journey with me. We're going to have some laughs and maybe some cries together. I'm just excited. I'm just excited. I have so much planned for the future. And one of the things that I'm learning is to take my time, right? I'm not going to let this world rush me. I'm not going to let the algorithms burn me out, because that's the thing. Oh, you got to create all this content. Listen, okay? Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the podcast. Everything that you need, that you want to see from me, will be in one of those two places, okay? And also subscribe to the mailing list. And then if you want a little bit more, if you want to get unfiltered behind the scenes, join me on Patreon. That's where I get intimate, raw, and real candorous. And plus you get early access to everything. You get a discount on the oils. You get a discount on events coming up, special VIP treatment. So Yeah, we in this thing, okay, baby? We in this thing. We gonna have some fun. We gonna it's gonna be a vibe. It's gonna be a rich auntie vibe, creating a vibrant life, a life that we love, a life of fulfillment, of joy. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. So stay tuned. Weekly episodes. Keep it right here, locked on the Candor and Clarity Podcast. I am your host, Leah Lorraine, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.